Hitting $100,000 should feel like freedom. But for a lot of people, that's the exact moment they start making the dumbest money decisions of their life. Because the first time you see real money, you feel powerful, you feel overdue, you feel like you finally earned the right to relax, upgrade, and reward yourself. And that's how people destroy it. Not because they're foolish, because money feels emotional when you've gone a long time without it. So if you ever hit $100,000, the first move is not to celebrate like you made it. The first move is to protect it like it can change your life. Let's be honest. A lot of people dream about the first $100,000 like it's the finish line. The number feels huge. It sounds grown. It sounds rich. It sounds like the moment life is finally supposed to get easier. And emotionally, I get it. If you spent years stressed, underpaid, catching up, and trying to breathe, that first big number can feel like proof. Proof that you're doing better. Proof that the struggle meant something. Proof that you can finally stop feeling behind. But here's the dangerous part. The first $100,000 is not luxury money. It is leverage money. That's the shift most people miss. They think the first big pile of money is supposed to upgrade their image. No, it's supposed to upgrade their position. That money is supposed to make you harder to break, harder to scare, harder to trap. Because if you treat $100,000 like celebration money, it disappears fast. A nicer car, a bigger payment, a few "I deserve this" purchases, helping too many people too fast, a bad investment pitch, a fake business opportunity, a lifestyle that suddenly needs feeding every month. And before you know it, the money that was supposed to change your life only changed your bills. That's why the moment you hit $100,000, you need to do something most people don't do. Slow down. That's the first move. Step 1. Do not move emotionally. The moment that money hits, your emotions get loud. That's normal. You want to breathe. You want to reward yourself. You want to fix everything at once. You want to make up for lost time. That is exactly why you need a pause. Not forever, just long enough to think clearly. Because money makes people feel smarter than they actually are, especially when it's new. The first thing to do is nothing dramatic. Let it sit. Let your emotions settle. Let your brain catch up to your bank account. A lot of people don't lose money because they never had a plan. They lose money because they let excitement become the plan. And excitement is expensive. Step 2. Protect your emergency life first. Before you try to grow the money, make sure the money can protect you. That means the first question is not, "What should I buy?" The first question is, what still makes me vulnerable? Car trouble? Medical bills? Housing pressure? Job instability? No real cash reserve? Fix that first. Because having $100,000 and still being one surprise away from panic is a terrible setup. That money should create a buffer between you and chaos. A lot of people want their money to look impressive. What it really needs to do first is make life less dangerous. That's what grown money does. If you don't have a real emergency fund, build one immediately. Not because it's flashy, because it keeps one bad month from turning into debt. That is protection, and protection comes before performance. Step 3. Kill the debt that's quietly killing you. Now let's talk about one of the smartest things you can do. Take out the high-interest debt. Not every debt, not every loan, but the toxic stuff. The balances that keep eating your future. The credit cards that keep charging you for old mistakes. The debt that makes you work hard just to stand still. That stuff has to go. Because no investment is going to feel great while interest keeps chewing through your progress in the background. A lot of people hit a big money milestone and want to invest every dollar immediately because that sounds sophisticated. But if ugly debt is still sitting there burning, you're not building clean. You're building while leaking, and leaking ruins momentum. Sometimes the most mature thing you can do with a big pile of money is not something exciting. It's removing the thing that keeps making the pile smaller. Step 4. Decide what the money is for.
This is where people mess up badly. They get money before they get clarity. That is dangerous because money with no job usually disappears into emotion. So the moment you hit $100,000, give every part of it a purpose. Some of it might be emergency savings. Some of it might be debt cleanup. Some of it might be taxes if needed. Some of it might be retirement. Some of it might be investing. Some of it might be future housing or freedom money. But all of it needs a role. Because if you leave a big pile of money sitting there with no plan, it starts talking to you. It starts saying things like, "You earned this. You can replace it later. One purchase won't hurt. You deserve to feel successful now." That's how people go from "I finally have money" to "Where did it all go?" in record time. Money needs assignments. Not vibes, not guesses, assignments.
Step 5. Put a piece somewhere you cannot casually touch it. This is huge. Once you've built safety and handled the obvious leaks, take a piece of that money and put it somewhere that is working for your future, not just sitting there waiting to be spent. This is where a lot of people finally need to become more serious than emotional. Retirement accounts, long-term investing, diversified funds, automatic contributions going forward. The point is simple. Some of that $100,000 needs to become untouchable future money. Because if every dollar stays available for mood-based decisions, eventually mood wins. And mood is not trying to make you wealthy. Mood is trying to make you feel good for 5 minutes. Real wealth comes from creating distance between you and your impulses. That's why people who build lasting money automate. They separate accounts. They use systems. They don't trust every future version of themselves to always feel disciplined. They build structure. Step 6. Get the free money too. Now, if you're working and you've got access to a retirement match, do not ignore it. That is one of the easiest, smart moves on the board. A lot of people dream about big investing wins while walking right past money that would have met them halfway. That makes no sense. If you hit $100,000 and you still are not taking full advantage of the match available to you, fix that immediately. Because real money is not just about what you earn, it's about what you stop leaving on the table. And mature money pays attention. Step 7. Do not upgrade your life too fast. This is probably where most people destroy it. They don't blow the whole $100,000 in one day. They slowly handcuff themselves with upgrades, a nicer car, a more expensive apartment, a bigger mortgage than they need, a lifestyle that quietly says, now you have to keep earning at this level forever. That's the trap. The money feels like freedom, but the upgrades create dependency. Now, instead of having options, you have obligations, and obligations are heavy. That's why the smartest people often look almost boring right after they come into real money, because they understand something important. The first goal is not to look successful. The first goal is to stay strong. You can always upgrade later, but if you upgrade too early, later may never come the way you hoped. Step 8. Watch out for fake opportunities. The moment people know you have money, weird things start appearing. Investment opportunities, business ideas, people who suddenly need help, friends with plans, family with emergencies, strangers selling urgency, somebody promising fast returns with low risk. That's when you need discipline, because fresh money attracts pressure, and inexperienced money is easy to manipulate. If it sounds rushed, emotional, guaranteed, or too good to be true, step back. Real wealth is usually built slowly, clearly, and boringly, not through panic decisions and miracle pitches. You do not need to turn $100,000 into a movie. You need to turn it into stability. Step 10. Let the money change your future, not just your weekend. This is the deeper point. A lot of people use big money to improve their comfort. That's understandable. But the people who really change their life use it to improve their future. They lower fragility. They create peace. They reduce dependency on debt. They fund tomorrow. They build breathing room. That's the difference between having money and becoming stronger because of money. Anybody can spend a good season. Not everybody can turn one good moment into a better life. That takes restraint.